So I'll be talking about the basic mechanism of action of lenalidomide. It's just so I'll be covering my talk under the following headings. First, a brief introduction, then mechanism of immunomodulation. In that, I'll be covering about how lenalidomide acts by immunomodulating at different levels, that is altering cytokine production, T cell activation, augmentation of NK cell function. Then I'll be just briefly touching upon the other mechanism of action, that is anti-angiogenic activity, direct anti-tumor activity, specific action of lenalidomide on multiple myeloma microenvironment, as well as selective efficacy in cells with deletion chromosome 5q. I'll be touching upon briefly because there are separate talks dedicated to this. So first, a brief introduction. Thalidomide actually was synthesized in Germany in 1954 from glutamic acid, and it was initially thought to be used as sedative and hypnotic antiemetic drug indicated to treat morning sickness in first trimester of gestation. But it got banned soon after, just 6 years after it was first synthesized, because of this kind of film defects in the children noted. What is lenalidomide? Lenalidomide is second generation drug of thalidomide. It's structurally quite similar, but it's 50 to 2000 fold more potent. And as we all know, its use in hematology is quite versatile, ranging from myelodysplasia, multiple myeloma, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, amyloidosis, myelofibrosis, as well as Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. So just a table to show the structural similarities between thalidomide, lenalidomide, and pomalidomide. There are certain minor structural differences as well. For example, thalidomide has got 2 oxo groups, while lenalidomide has got amino group and single oxo group, and pomalidomide has got amino group at 4th position and 2 oxo groups in the thalol ring. Coming to the difference in immunomodulatory action, thalidomide stimulates T cell proliferation and increases interferon gamma and IL-2 production. Lenalidomide has been shown to be 100 to 1000 times more potent in stimulating T cell proliferation and interferon gamma and IL-2 production than thalidomide. Pomalidomide is similar to thalidomide. In addition, it also has got an additional mechanism of action, that is, it enhances transcription factor Tbet, which reverses Th cells, Th2 cells into Th1-like cells. Coming to adverse effects, thalidomide has got higher incidence of adverse effects, for example, sedation, neuropathy, and constipation, which is likely lower with lenalidomide as well as pomalidomide. Coming to teratinogenicity, thalidomide, as we all know, is a known teratogen. Lenalidomide has not been tested in humans, but in animals it is found to be not teratogenic in rabbit models. On the other hand, pomalidomide also is a known teratogen. Now, what is an immunomodulator? An immunomodulator is anything basically that helps to regulate the immune system. The immunomodulators appear to have both anti-cancer as well as anti-inflammatory activities. Coming to mechanism of action of immunomodulation. So lenalidomide, as we will see in the subsequent slides, it has got a versatile immunomodulation action. So basically it acts at cytokine level by decreasing the pro-inflammatory cytokines, as well as it leads to T cell co-stimulations, increasing the Th1 cytokines, that is interferon gamma and IL-2, which further leads to T cell clonal proliferation, as well as acts at the NK cell level, thereby generating cytotoxicity against the tumor cells. In addition, lenalidomide also acts directly at the genetic level by increasing the expression of P21, which is a known tumor suppression gene. It also leads to direct G0, G1 cell cycle arrest. It has got anti-angiogenic activity by decreasing the level of VEGF and IL-6. At multiple myeloma tumor cell level, microenvironment level, it increases the level of expression of various cell adhesion molecules, and thereby it decreases the interaction between the plasma cells as well as the bone marrow stromal cells. It has got direct active action on the osteoclast level as well. It decreases the formation as well as activation of osteoclasts, and decreases the survival factors which are important for survival of osteoclasts as well. So all this we'll be seeing in detail subsequently. Now coming to the first mechanism of action, that is altering cytokine production. So it inhibits the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, that is TNF alpha, IL-1, IL-6, etc., and elevates the production of anti-inflammatory cytokine IL-10. Why is it important? It is important because we know that TNF alpha is directly involved in pathogenesis of various hematological malignancies by causing stem cell apoptosis and ineffective hematopoiesis, as seen in MDS. So thereby, by inhibiting TNF alpha, lenalidomide decreases this kind of carcinogenesis. What about IL-6? So lenalidomide decreases the production of IL-6, and IL-6 we know inhibits the apoptosis of malignant myeloma cells and helps in their proliferation. So thereby inhibiting IL-6, it can lead to its action in multiple myeloma cells. Coming to the second mechanism of action, that is T cell activation. We know that the process of T cell activation, it occurs by two steps. The first steps involve the presentation of peptide fragments by the antigen presenting cell to the T cell receptors. But this is not sufficient to activate the T cell. We need a second interaction between the B7 molecule and the antigen presenting cells. I'll be showing this subsequently in figures. And CD28 on T cell surface. So this basically functions as the co-stimulatory signal for stimulating the T cell response. So lenalidomide mainly acts as this level. So what happens is lenalidomide acts on T cells by the B7 CD28 co-stimulatory pathway. There is blockade of this interaction using the CTLA4 immunoglobulin B7 blocking antibody. This is partially overcome by IMiDs. How this is overcome? So lenalidomide directly acts on the downstream pathway, leading to tyrosine phosphorylation of CD28 on T cells, leading to the activation of downstream signals. I'll be showing this in figure when it will become more clear. So lenalidomide directly acts on downstream of CD28, leading to its phosphorylation and activation of the downstream signals. So this might explain how it is able to overcome the blockade of the CTLA4 immunoglobulin blockade. So thus, T cell co-stimulation by lenalidomide acts to an increased Th1 type cytokine response, resulting in increased secretion of interferon gamma and IL-2, that in turn stimulate clonal T cell proliferation and NK cell activity. So this is what I was saying. So these are the antigen presenting cells. This is the T cell, the other T cell receptors. So the antigen presenting cells through their MHC molecules present the peptides to the T cell receptor. In addition, there is interaction between B7 present on the antigen presenting cells and CD28 present on the T cells that is responsible for co-stimulation of the downstream T cells. This leads to generation of interleukin-2 and T cell clonal proliferation. Now what happens in tumors is there is CTLA4 immunoglobulin antibody which goes and blocks these kinds of B7 CD28 interaction. Lenalidomide overcomes blockade of this interaction by directly acting at downstream of CD28, leading to its phosphorylation, activation of the NF-kappa beta and various other pathways. Now this overcomes this kind of CTLA4 immunoglobulin blockade, and this thereby leads to T cell clonal proliferation. So thereby lenalidomide directly leads to T cell activation. What about NK cell function? So modulation of NK cell function is also believed to be contributory of the anti-tumor effect of lenalidomide. The increase in NK cell function could be related to increased IL-2 production by the T cells. So the activation of T cells leads to increased IL-2 production, which in turn activates the NK cells as well. Also, enhanced Fc gamma receptor signaling may also increase the potential of NK cells. So thereby lenalidomide activates the NK cells by two ways. Number one, it increases the IL-2 production by T cells, which leads to activation of NK cells. Number two, it activates the Fc gamma receptor signaling, which again leads to increased potential of the NK cells. So again, this is shown here. So lenalidomide acts at T cell level, increases the Th1 cytokines. So this leads to T cell clonal proliferation as well as it activates the NK cell function, and thereby it generates the cytotoxicity against the tumor cells. So this was about the direct immunomodulatory mechanism of action. I'll be briefly covering about the other mechanisms as well. So for example, anti-angiogenic activity, direct anti-tumor activity, and briefly about how it acts on multiple myeloma microenvironment and selectively against the deletion chromosome 5q cells. So what about anti-angiogenic activity? We know that lenalidomide decreases the expression of angiogenic factors, for example, VEGF and IL-6 in multiple myeloma, thereby reducing angiogenic cells. So this has been proven beyond doubt in deletion 5q MDS patients as well, wherein in the patients treated with lenalidomide, when repeat bone marrow biopsy was done, decreased bone marrow vascularity has been noted subsequent to lenalidomide therapy. So this is one mechanism of action of decreasing the angiogenic activity. There is also another mechanism of action, that is apart from decreasing the levels of VEGF, analysis of signal transduction events show that lenalidomide partially inhibits the AKT phosphorylation after VEGF stimulation in endothelial cells. So it acts at VEGF at two levels. Number one, it decreases the vascular endothelial growth factor levels, and as well as it inhibits its activity by inhibiting the AKT phosphorylation. What about direct anti-tumor activity? So lenalidomide acts directly on tumors at cell cycle level through different mechanisms. For example, it upregulates cyclin-dependent kinase inhibitor P21, which is, we know, a key cell cycle regulator that modulates the activity of various cyclin-dependent kinases. This also, it has been shown to inhibit proliferation by causing dose-dependent cell cycle arrest at G0, G1 phase. So it acts at different cycle-dependent kinases level, as well as it directly causes cell cycle arrest. Also, it has been shown to induce apoptosis in the multiple myeloma cell lines. Now, this was about cancer cells, but interestingly, it has been shown that lenalidomide has shown opposite effects on the growth of normal progenitors. So, on the one hand, it inhibits the cancer cell growth. On the other hand, it stimulates the growth of normal progenitors, stimulating normal hematopoiesis. What about effect on multiple myeloma microenvironment directly? So at multiple myeloma microenvironment level, the most important action is through inhibition of osteoclast activity. So we know that in multiple myeloma, osteoclast has got a central role in pathogenesis. So how does lenalidomide inhibits the osteoclast? So it directly decreases the formation of trap positive cells which form the osteoclast. So thereby it decreases the formation of osteoclast. It also decreases the level of various integrins, which are adhesion molecules needed for osteoclast activation. So it is inhibiting the formation of osteoclast as well as inhibiting its activation. It also downregulates cathepsin K, which is a major cysteine protease expressed in osteoclast, which is important for its matrix degradation in the resorption process. So thereby it acts on osteoclast through a number of different mechanisms. In addition, lenalidomide decreases the number of cell adhesion molecules, for example, ICAM1, VCAM, and E-selectin, and thereby inhibits the adhesion of multiple myeloma cells to bone marrow stromal cells. Thus, lenalidomide interferes with synergism among the osteoclast multiple myeloma cells and bone marrow stromal cells and decreases osteoclastogenesis by acting at various levels. So again, this is shown here. So this part I have already discussed. This is how the lenalidomide acts at cell cycle level by increasing the expression of tumor suppressor gene P21, as well as directly causing G0, G1 cell cycle arrest, decreases angiogenesis by decreasing VEGF as well as decreasing IL-6, acts on multiple myeloma through multiple mechanisms, that is to decreasing cell adhesion molecules, which thereby lead to decreased interaction between the multiple myeloma cells and bone marrow stromal cells. It acts on osteoclasts by decreasing formation as well as decreasing activation of osteoclast level, as well as it directly decreases osteoclastogenesis and various survival factors which are important for survival of the osteoclast. So I have covered at multiple levels how lenalidomide is important as a versatile immunomodulator and its various other mechanisms as well. Again, showing here the various tumoricidal effects of lenalidomide, downregulation of cytokines, downregulation of adhesion molecules, T-cell co-stimulation, presence of tumor antigen presentation, and direct action on NK cells as well as T cells. Just briefly about action directly on the deletion 5q cells. So on 5q deletion cells, lenalidomide has got clonal dependent mechanisms, that is, it directly acts on enzymatic targets of lenalidomide within the CDR region that has got dual specificity phosphatases, that is CD25C and TP2A-C alpha. So how are these phosphatases important? These phosphatases are important in cell cycle checkpoint regulation, that is a G2M checkpoint, and their inhibition by lenalidomide leads to G2 arrest and apoptosis. So thereby it directly inhibits the common these two kind of phosphatase which are important in regulating cell cycle at G2M checkpoint. And it has got clonal independent mechanisms as well, that is, it upregulates the formation of normal hematopoiesis and through immunomodulated mechanisms as well. So this is shown in this diagram. So lenalidomide, it directly acts on these two phosphatases which are important in G2M checkpoint regulation. So this leads to G2 arrest and apoptosis as well as restoration of effective erythropoiesis. And it has got clonal independent mechanism of action as well, that is, it upregulates various genes which are involved in erythropoiesis. It improves the hematopoiesis supporting capacity and of the bone marrow stroma. So this leads to restoration of effective erythropoiesis. And as already discussed, with immunomodulatory effect, that is to increase in anti-inflammatory cytokines and decrease in pro-inflammatory cytokine, as well as anti-angiogenic activity. this leads to the arrest, G2 arrest and apoptosis of cancer cells as well as restoration of effective erythropoiesis. So I think with that I would like to conclude and over to Dr. Agarwal sir.